So then coming back to your question, the religiosity, as I said, you know, the referring especially to Freud, so there is a basic desire for, you know, being religious, right? Coming out of this limitlessness, oceanic, what he called as oceanic feeling, and also referring to another, you know, the psychoanalyst, the post-Freudian psychoanalyst, the Jacques Lacan, the French psychoanalyst. So his idea about this, you know, the incompleteness of the subject, right? So when you think of the self, the subjectivity always incomplete. So there is a lack. So you always feel that, you know, there's something lacking in you, in yourself, right? So then there is a desire for completeness. So this conflict between the desire of the completeness, the fullness, and the existing, you know, the limitedness, you know, the lack of something, create a certain kind of tension, right? So that is where that is what is addressed by the religious. There are of
anxiety.
Course, anxiety that's create an anxiety. I mean, there are a lot of non-religious, you know, the modes of addressing this anxiety. Even maybe, you know, science fiction and all kind of thing. You know, the art is another. The art is, of course, another, you know, the mode of addressing this anxiety. But religious is the most effective way. Actually, the art would not provide you a solution. It may provide a very, you know, the momentary solution, but, you know, the religious provide you, you know, the broader solution, you know, the solution beyond this birth, right? And then, so then how does this religiosity, the sense of, you know, the desire for religiosity being realized? So that's the important thing. Into, you know, I mean, how they manifest in themselves in actual religion. So that's the important thing. So I'll take the example of the Buddhism. The Buddhism, at the beginning, it's not a religion. I think I would say it's an anti-religion, right? I mean, if you look at the career of the Buddha, right? It's an anti-religion. You know, basically going against, you know, the religion at that time. That is what we call as Hinduism, right? But then what happened was that since, you know, the Buddha also tried to grapple with the spiritual problem of the human being, so there is a, you know, sort of an area that could be transformed into a, you know, I mean, the religion. So that was what happened later on, right? Actually, very soon after, I think even, I mean, even it can, I think that even during the time of the Buddha, so this happened to a certain extent, right? So yeah, I think he was aware of that tension, but later on it was converted into a set of belief systems and, you know, the full-fledged religion. So that happened, you know, especially outside, especially it is doubtful whether, you know, Asoka's time, you know, I mean, some say that, you know, whether Asoka is Buddhist or not, so that is debatable. But, you know, the outside India, in Sri Lanka, in Burma, you know, right, southeastern part, so it was transformed into a religious system, right? Okay. So that's so there are a number of ways. I mean, the same thing goes with you know, the Christianity, right? We don't know I mean, we don't have more information about, you know, the career of Jesus, and, you know, this. So then it is interesting to observe how these non-religious interventions, initiatives transform into organized religions.
Yeah. Right. Now, can I follow?
I think, you see, now that shows the actual religion is not static. Yes, you know, the religious has been changing over the period of time, and religious has been actually a response to the existing socio-cultural political conditions. So that is how what society actually demands is very much reflect in the religion. So that is why we see actually different movements, different sects, different separations, different conflict happening within the so-called organized religion. If you look at, say for Christianity, Christianity has, different sects, different, the major break actually happened in 15th century, when this, Protestant movement started, that create a lot of, the other denominations, basically Presbyterian, Puritan movements, and all sort of other sects. Even if you look at Buddhism, of course, it has also turned into, split into different sects. Theravada, then the Mahayana, and all sort of segments. Even within Sri Lanka, of course, you see there are different kind of a sects. Siyanikaya, Amarasuriya, and all sort of segments, all sort of a movement within the actually. So as a sociologist, as an anthropologist, we looked at how actually society demands, how society impact on sort of a religion, and also religion impact on society. So therefore, actually, religion is not a kind of a static one. It is basically responding to the emerging socio-political cultural.
Exactly. I think from a kind of a sociological or anthropological point of view, that is really important, because in a sense, what we are looking at here is not the truth or falsity of the religion, or whether what was before was more pure or not. What you're also suggesting here is that religious change happens as a response to socio-economic political context, right? So that is what we are looking at, right? That is how, as sociologists or anthropologists, we need to approach the study of religion, is to see under what conditions do particular kinds of religious practices or religious movements emerge, right? That is what is interesting for us as well.
And I like to add a little bit more. Of course, it's a way of explaining what we have already explained. So we were talking about religiosity and all in the previous episode, but again, we were talking about spirituality. The emerge of the new religious movements starts, or it emerges from spirituality. It emerged from religiosity. It emerged from magic. It emerged from cults,
exactly.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So in a way, as Professor Premakumara explained, that can be a different way of religion. But religious movements emerge from different, different areas, as I explained.